Hello, and welcome to a Down Under episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, Gary Holt of Gary Holt Plastering from Australia. We talk about dry lining in Australia, the old days of Drywall Talk, and horsehair? There wasn't a safe horse in your area. Like they were all bald.
Yeah. I called it horsehair. I'm not 100% sure of what it really
plaster
was.
Guys. Those plaster guys that show up to the job and the horses that go running.
Yeah, they do the bolt, mate.
Gary is awesome, and you are going to love this episode of the Drywall Podcast. This episode of the Drywall Podcast is brought to you by Can-Am Tools. This will be the final episode sponsored by Can-Am Tools. They have supported us all throughout March and April and beyond, and we appreciate them for that. Can-Am Tools is also celebrating 50 years of excellence as the original and leading inventor of the semi-automatic drywall finishing tool. Their line of tools is centered around the compound tube, one of the most versatile tools on the market. Now, for this final episode and through April, you have a chance to get your hands on these tools at a discounted price if you go to canamtools.com and enter promo code TDP15. Guests of the Drywall Podcast, including Gary, will receive a sweet swag bucket from CSR filled with lots of cool stuff, such as a sample pack from Fresco Harmony, a Tech Dry tool, 3-way, Spy sponge, a shirt, and potentially much more. But for now, Gary Holt on the 49th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going, sir?
Yeah, going okay, mate. How you doing?
We made it. It's early there.
Yeah. We're all over it, mate. Like a fat kid on a Mars bar, mate.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Gary Holt of Gary Holt Plastering, Australia dry lining, 3 hours out of Melbourne, Talangata, Australia, Down under. Throw some shrimp on the Barbie. We're coming at you live with the Drywall Podcast.
Unbelievable.
You hear that? Do they actually say throw shrimp on the Barbie in no?
No, mate. No, not at all. That was purely an advertising campaign for the US. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I did not know that. I remember, I think of Crocodile Dundee. I was old enough to watch Crocodile Dundee. He was great. Yeah,
he was quite a character. What most people don't realise, particularly in the US, is he had a TV show prior to that called The Paul Hogan Show. It was like I suppose just skits he'd do.
Okay.
Just a knockabout type of bloke. Yeah. It's all over YouTube if you want to look at it. And they're quite funny and very politically incorrect these days.
Okay. Yeah. They probably make fun of women and whatever.
Oh, and everyone, yes.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody was sacred.
Cool. You got the Wallboard Tools shirt on there, repping the Wallboard a little bit. Is that Wallboard Australia?
Yes. Wallboard Tools Australia. Yep.
Oh, okay. They have it like a division over there because there's Wallboard. Is there Wallboard?
No, it's a completely separate, different company. Yeah.
Than Wallboard Canada.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's Wallboard.
Completely separate.
Wallboard Trim and Tool versus Wallboard Tool.
Yes.
Okay.
Wallboard Tools. Yep.
Now, how does Tape Pro, where does that fit in? Tape Pro is like a tool manufacturer. They sell product to Wallboard Tools, correct?
So Tape Pro is a manufacturer.
Okay.
Wallboard Tools is a distributor.
Okay.
So neither of them sell directly to the public. So they're both, I suppose, a business that just Wallboard deals with stockists such as other
Okay.
companies. Yeah. Yeah. And Tape Pro is now launched overseas as well. So in Australia, they deal exclusively with Wallboard Tools, but internationally, they'll deal with Wallboard Tool and Trim, Wall Tools, and I'm not sure of all the distributors. Yeah. And also in UK and Europe as well. Yeah, so they deal directly with their distributors in those countries. Yeah.
Since it's tomorrow, Friday, there's a little bit.
And you're still yesterday.
I'm still yesterday. Yes.
Yeah. So actually, Tape Pro and Wallboard are owned by the same people.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Same owner. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Yeah, and you know those guys. You're friends with. Can you say on social?
I suppose Stuart Orchard is the guy's name, but I think he tries to keep in the background a fair bit.
Okay.
Stuart. So yeah.
Okay. Very, very cool. The great Gary Holt. You know, we see you all the time on social media. You're pretty prevalent. Australian sort of ambassador. Australia comes up a lot on the Drywall podcast. You guys do a really good finishing job. You've got the Drywall Gangsters out of Australia, correct?
Yes.
Those
Queensland. Yep.
I need to interview those guys. Those guys come up a lot. People are always talking about how great the Drywall Gangsters are. Have you worked with those guys, or do you know them at all?
I've spoken with them. I haven't actually met them. They're about 1,600 kilometres from here, so it's about 1,000 miles roughly. Yeah,
that's a ways.
Yeah. So they're north of me. They're up on the coast, up in Queensland.
Up in Queensland, okay. And so you are. We'll start in the middle. Why not? Are you an ambassador for any of these tools? Are you like, do these guys throw you tools? What's your relationship to some of the tool companies currently, that are Tape Pro, Wallboard, besides like, using a tool? Do you vet the tools? Do they give you tools to check out? How does that work?
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah, they any new tools that they've been developing, they generally send me a base version, what they're coming out with, and put it in my hands for a while. I have a bit of a play with it, give them feedback, pros and cons.
Yep.
So I've been, I suppose, dealing with Wallboard and Tape Pro for a number of years now. Originally caught up with those guys through Drywall Talk all those years ago.
Right. I guess we could skip back. Yeah. Why Gary Holt, though? Why do they choose you? You're that good. How do they find you?
I don't know.
They like you.
I don't know. Yeah. I guess they found me through Drywall Talk. Yeah.
Okay, and, way back.
Way back. Yeah.
Do you remember me? Do you remember me on Drywall Talk?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess I remember you.
That's when Fresco first hit my radar, mate. Fresco. Yeah.
I got to Drywall Talk through Bernie. I met him on Contractor Talk or through LinkedIn, and Bernie was like, "Oh, you need to go check out Drywall Talk." And I went on to Drywall Talk, and it was just a melee. And Brian was on there doing Drywall Nation, and Joe was on there with Trim Techs. And that was probably the first social media outlet. Who else was on Drywall Talk back then?
Tubuck. Remember Tubuck?
Yeah.
Tubuck Canuck.
Some Canadian like Tubuck. Now what was his name?
Boy, you're pushing my memory now.
That's okay.
I think he was a Richard or a Rick. Yeah. I can't remember his surname. now.
Tube
Yeah.
wasn't Richard Icefeller because he was Ice Rock,
No.
but it was
Yeah.
Rick nonetheless. Was that
Yeah.
Rick Moore? Was that Rick Moore? No, he's American.
No. He's from the southern part of the States.
So Drywall Talk, and for all you listeners that are maybe a little younger, that must have been around 9 years ago. I was looking at like my history of Fresco Harmony. I think that Fresco Harmony sort of started maybe 8 or 9 years ago. I mean, that was like right out of the gate. I was getting my first feedback on the product from Drywall Talk, and people are like, "Colored mud, my grandma does that." What are you trying to peddle? All of that. And I was like, I was just doing colored mud, like whatever. I got this bottle. You can buy them online.
Yep.
Yeah. But I did not have the nerves to take some of the criticism back then. So I quickly exited out of Drywall Talk. And then also I didn't have
a fairly thick skin.
Yeah, I didn't have I didn't have like the chops because I wasn't doing drywall. I was doing Fresco Harmony. I could talk drywall, but I was really there to sort of market Fresco Harmony, and nobody really wants to hear that. They wanted to talk about new tools and stuff.
Yeah.
And they still do. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been on there for years. I popped in there probably 18 months ago. I just dropped in and had a bit of a look and see what was going on. But yeah, none of the old guys are there.
Is it still going?
Well, it was then, about 18 months ago. So I assume it's still there, but
okay,
I don't know for sure.
But it was like I feel like they changed management very quickly and it kind of got silly, like real quick. They didn't.
It went to the pack. It got hacked at one stage.
Oh, okay.
And then it was just never the same after that.
Oh, okay.
But, the contacts that personally I developed through Drywall Talk was invaluable. Yeah, absolutely invaluable.
And then where did you go from Drywall Talk? Was that then over to the Facebook groups? Did you start sort of exploring there?
No, I have not really involved in any of the Facebook groups. What I see of Facebook, I might sound judgmental, but to me, a lot of it seems very negative. And, guys are very quick to call someone else out. And, but, I don't know. But Instagram, I feel is generally a more positive platform.
Yeah.
If people, the old adage, if you haven't got something nice to say nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel more people do that. There are a few cowboys that like to jump up and rant and carry on a bit, but for the most part, it's a fairly positive platform. So,
yes,
that's where I've ended up. And
so you hang out more now on Instagram. Do you have a website?
No. Don't bother.
Like that.
No, don't need to generate any business.
No, you're staying busy.
Staying busy. I don't. Yeah, I even used to advertise locally, but I've stopped doing that because you get sick of saying sorry, I can't do it. People come up with a time frame, or I've got 2 weeks to get. Sorry, I'm booked out for months.
That's a great problem to have. So, are you first generation drywaller? Where did you start?
Yeah, I am. My father's actually an auto body repairer. He had his own shop.
Cool.
But so I'm first generation plasterer. I was in school and not liking school, wanting to get out.
Yeah.
And a guy offered me a job. I said,
a good drywaller. Good drywaller's no school. Just give me the tools. I'll go over here.
Yeah, give me the tools.
Start making money. Yep. Beer and money over here. I can afford my beer and my car over here. School, you could still afford the beer, but maybe not the car.
I was a bit young for beer. I was 16, Nick. So yeah, too young to be drinking.
Oh, you were young. So they had union was strong in your area?
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, all piecework.
Okay.
Yeah, people did piecework to the builders, subcontract,
Who'd you
and
start
that was it.
working with?
An old guy. He'd been in it for a few years, but to be brutally honest, he wasn't that up with what was going on himself. He was struggling. So I managed to stay with him for 4 years, and then
What do you mean he wasn't? What do you mean he wasn't up with what's going on?
some of his methods were a bit ordinary. He did more hanging than finishing. He struggled a fair bit, struggled a lot.
Okay.
After I finished with him, I was with him for about 4 years, and then I went with another guy, and I was worked with him for 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Learned a lot. Yeah, a great mentor.
So that first guy, did he have finishers that you learned from, or did you learn your finishing from him?
Learned what I could from him.
Okay.
He also worked with, at times, we went and worked for another guy, an older fella.
Okay.
Sort of contracted to him on an hourly rate and picked up bibs and bobs from him and learnt more from him than I did from the guy I was actually working for.
I like that. Bibs and bobs. It's a good one.
But yeah, in Australia, most of the older guys, which I suppose they've all retired now, were what they call fibrous plasterers. So back in the day, plaster was all cast on a flat deck. So it was 3/8 thick.
Okay.
And it had horsehair in the middle of it as reinforcing.
Beautiful.
So they'd sheet the houses with that. And every town had its own plasterworks.
Okay.
And they'd sheet the houses with these sheets. Often they were still green, very, very heavy. And then the plasterer would come in and finish all the joints. So back then there was no tape, no all-purpose, no hot mud, nothing like that.
Okay.
It was all hand finished with a finishing plaster. And it was all the joints were all polished. There was no sanding, so they'd trowel all the joints up. They'd stay on a joint until that joint was finished.
What'd you use to fasten the joints together?
They'd use horsehair.
The horsehair would connect the joints together.
Yeah. Yes.
Fascinating.
Horsehair. No tape back in the day. There wasn't
a safe horse in your area. Like they were all bald.
Yeah. I called it horsehair. I'm not 100% sure of what it really
plaster
was.
Guys. Those plaster guys that show up to the job and the horses that go running.
Yeah, they do the bolt, mate.
That's interesting. So you saw the transition, I would assume, during probably your second stint with the 16-year guy. You saw that transition from that old method to drywall, correct?
No, so that was before me. So by the time I came into the trade, it was all plasterboard sheets or sheetrock, or gyprock, whatever you want to call it. But the guys were still there and still using a lot of the older methods. They'd sort of transitioned. Most of them were all hawk and trowel guys, so they used the tools that they had. They'd all gone to tape and base coat and did a top coat and sanding, but they were using a lot of their old methods, hawk and trowel, and hawk and trowel is still the most popular method in Australia.
Yeah, Canada, they like the hawk and trowel also.
Yeah,
it's probably the pan and knife is probably more prevalent in America.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about other areas. Is it necessarily good or bad to get more mud on your hawk?
You can get more mud on the hawk. It's easier to access the mud, particularly a thicker mud. I use a pan and knife for taping, bedding in tapes behind the bazooka.
Wiping down.
Because Yeah, wiping down. The mud's that wet. You try and balance that on a hawk. It's like trying to balance a ball bearing on a sheet of glass. It doesn't work.
Mhm. You're gonna get all the pan and knife guys being like, "See, Gary Holt, he uses a pan and knife."
Horses for courses. Whatever
Yeah.
you're doing, there's not one method that's best for everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Go
I,
ahead.
I like to run a really thick mud on my beads, first coat of bead,
Okay.
and I using your hand with a trowel is a lot easier than trying to run it with a knife when you're using thick mud. It's just a lot less stress on your hand and on your body. So hawk and trowel makes sense. Whereas with thin mud for wiping down, hand and knife makes sense.
Right.
So you just go with what works best.
Yeah. And so were you using the tools, this second company that you worked with, were you using tools like right out of the gate?
All hand tools, yeah, yep.
The
Not not
automatic, the
not
automatic.
no no big gap there, Nick.
Yeah.
So we're using taping in using a 6-inch knife with a hawk to run base coat in, tape by hand. Second coat trowel, which is what is it, about an 8-inch trowel, curved trowel. For second coating, we'd use a base coat for that mud. So these are all setting compounds. And then you'd use a 280 mil or a 11.5-inch, whatever it is, trowel, curved trowel for a top coat. And that was a bucket mud or in a box, or you could mix it up yourself. You could actually mix it. And that was a compound that was an air dry that you'd sand. And that was all by hand, angles by hand, everything. It wasn't until the late 90s that we first seen a box.
How old were you around that time? So at 16, what year would you say you started?
I started in 1981.
Okay.
I'm giving away secrets now, aren't I?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm doing the
Yeah.
math.
Yeah, doing the math. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll
So
be
16,
59 this year, Nick, save you trying to work it all out.
beautiful. 59. So 16 years, right around 81, and then
Yep.
you worked 16 years. So you got 91, maybe around 97. You were with the second company through 97. I would assume
Yeah.
right there towards the tail end of that company, that's when maybe the semi-automatic tools and the automatic tools, that's when those tools started to emerge.
Yeah, so boxes was the first things we used.
Okay.
And
What
that was it for quite a while.
what did you think of the box when you first saw
What the hell?
it?
Where's this been all my life?
Get off my job. No, you liked it right away? You liked it right away?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You didn't kick the
Yeah.
sales guy off the job, tell him to get the hell out of here with his fancy tools.
No, I went past the job, drove past the job and seen the finished joints from the walk from the road, and I thought, man, they look straight. That
Woo.
guy's must be good. What's going on there? And I ended up knew the guy. And
Okay.
yeah, we're using boxes. Using what? I said. So
Yeah.
he
He's like,
showed me,
never
and then
mind. We got
yeah.
a secret. We got a little
Then
secret.
there was a guy that was getting out of the game. He was going to sell real estate for some reason, and he had some secondhand boxes which he wanted to sell. So I bought them. So 2 boxes and an old, the hand pump.
Yeah.
Yeah, paid $1,500, I think it was, for the pump and 2 boxes.
What were those
And
tools? What were those tools? And that, so I assume, what year would you say that was?
would have been late 90s. Yeah, I don't know, 98, around then, I think, roughly. Yeah.
So where did
No,
you go?
actually,
So you were you still with the second company, the 16-year company,
yes.
when you
Yep.
started using the
Yep.
boxes?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of tools were those?
They were tape tech. Yeah.
Tape tech.
Yeah. The old hinged one. One was the springs that actually hold the plate in. Yeah, if you took the springs out, the plate had come off.
Yeah.
They weren't bad boxes.
They
Made
weren't
in the
bad.
US back then. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are you using tape deck still?
No, I haven't got any tape tech tools at all anymore. No.
You use Tape
No.
Pro, right? Do you use Tape Pro?
I've generally used Tape Pro. Yes. Yep. Yeah.
What do you like? What do you like about the Tape Pro?
Number of things. If you've got a problem, they're only a phone call away.
Okay.
They're Australian based.
They're Australian. Yeah.
If you've got an issue, you're not contacting someone in another country who doesn't really care about Australia. You're actually talking to someone that you're in the same country.
Yeah.
They've got a vested interest in that. They're a completely different box. Matter of fact, most of Tape Pro tools are different in so many ways to the other tools. They run a solid axle, inside track wheels, which I really like. Their wipers are completely different. They're a different material, and the way they're connected to the box, they're different. They're originally, I think it was Concord that they were based on originally, and then what's it called in America? Blue Line.
Blue Line. Yeah, I was going to ask. I think Blue Line is in Australia as well. Is there other tool manufacturers in Australia?
No. So actually, as far as I know, Blue Line and Tape Pro are under the same banner, as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay.
But there is another small guy, I think, trying to get a bit of a start in Australia with the tools, but yeah, I think he's struggling. It's probably an established market already.
Is he making tools?
Pretty difficult. I think he's making some semi-automatic tools, for my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you guys have access to, would Wallboard, do they import like Columbia, Can-Am, like all that stuff?
No, Wallboard don't. There are other companies over here that import those. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can get those brands over here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then where do you get your tools from?
Usually I can get it. Look, I'm going to say CSR, but you're going to think, oh, CSR Canada. No, it's not. So in Australia, CSR is a manufacturer of plasterboard, largest manufacturer of plasterboard, and they've got their own distribution network of board. They have shop fronts, so they have tools as well, which you can go in there and purchase off the shelf. Or there are online stores. One I use a bit is Plastering Supplies. They're based in Melbourne. They have pretty good stock levels, and they're usually here within 2 to 3 days. And quite often, their pricing is better than CSR. Yeah, CSR Gyprock, that is.
Interesting. And what does the CSR Australia stand for?
Now this is going to throw you out. Colonial Sugar Refinery.
Okay.
Yeah. So they started out refining sugar from sugarcane. That was their first thing. And they're a major building group. They own an insulation manufacturer. They insulation manufacturing, glazing. They own part of Rondo, which does a lot of metal work over here, metal studs, angles, external angles, all of that stuff. Yeah.
Pretty big company.
Major building. Huge company. Yeah, huge company. By Australian standards. My morning cup.
Your morning cup. Your Friday morning. My Thursday afternoon, your Friday morning.
That's it.
Friday morning ain't even here yet. I might be working out. When it's your time, I might be working out tomorrow. I don't know. Depends on how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a Fresco Harmony
It's,
job tomorrow afternoon. Oh yeah.
there you go. So when you're looking at that, I'll be sleeping.
11 o'clock. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
11 will
Yeah, definitely.
be no. Oh yeah,
No, hang on.
11 would be Saturday early morning.
Okay.
Like or even late, like maybe like 12 or
Yeah,
1
I don't
a.m.
know.
Gets hard.
I get confused.
Yeah,
It's hard,
Australia
mate.
is it's hard when it like skips a day, man. That's hard.
Yeah,
It would be hard to
like
travel.
it's 7:18 a.m. here.
It's crazy. It'd be hard to travel to like Australia and like get, the jet lag would be huge over there.
The thing is, though, you'd get here before you leave.
Right. It's like you never left.
Yeah,
Time time travel. Yeah, so
that's right.
if I left right now, I would get there like the same time that I left
Yeah.
because you guys
No,
are
hang on. It's the other way around, isn't it? Sorry.
it'd be the other way around if you when you
The other way
left,
around. Yes. Yes, that's right. Yes, sorry.
you get
Yeah.
because you would go back in time.
Yeah.
So for our listening audience, I don't know if you know this, but we are talking to Gary Holt into the future. It's Friday where he's at, and it's Thursday where I'm at.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it?
That is pretty amazing. He's having his Friday morning cup of coffee, and I'm having my Thursday afternoon cup of coffee. See, we got Drywall Magazine. All right,
Oh,
so
no, mine's in a Yeti, so that's
yeah,
okay.
those
Look
are
at that,
good.
supporting an American product. They are
Yeah,
very
those are
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeti is a good product. I don't mind supporting them. That even if they're from America, it's okay.
Yeah. No, they are a very good product. Yeah.
And so the boxes, you started using the boxes, and you're like, damn, these boxes are pretty good. They lay out a
Yeah.
nice level that fast too, probably would be my first interpretation of the boxes. Damn, I could do a whole house in one
Definitely.
day.
Yeah.
As fast as you guys are with the Hawk and Trowel.
Yeah.
What was the next graduation of tools that you went to from the box?
Um, Let me think. Probably the angle tools.
Okay.
I I bought some stuff off a guy second hand. I hadn't used flushes at that stage. I went straight to an angle head,
Okay.
and yeah, that was a learning curve. I didn't actually. Well, I had an applicator, but it was you've heard of Appletech, no doubt. So I bought an Appletech
Yeah.
secondhand Appletech system. So it ran with a Graco pump, and man, the learning curve on that thing was huge,
Why?
absolutely huge. Just trying to get your mud flow correct, your consistency of your mud and the output. It could just lay it on very fast and sometimes not very neat because of the speed.
Was
So
it a continuous flow system?
yes, yes, it was.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
you started
yeah.
out using a continuous flow system. I thought that was a
I
later technology.
Yeah, well, that was the first thing because I was only using the boxes and that was it. So none of the other stuff, and probably got left behind here in Australia in as much as not many guys were using bazookas or the
Right.
angle tools. I'd seen the flushes, but I thought, nah, they look too good to be true. It can't be real. So I
Yeah.
never actually seen one operating
Right.
until got onto social media. So yeah,
Wow. So
and ended up
that
getting
was later social media. That was
yeah, oh,
2010.
absolutely. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you didn't start
Everything
using.
everything other than boxes was still done by hand. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
I mean, I would consider that fairly new. I started in 2000 and they were using all the tools,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Like even in Australia now, there's not many guys that use the auto taper.
Interesting.
Very, very slow pickup on it. Yeah.
Do you use a bazooka?
Yes, I do. Yep.
What bazooka do you use?
I've got the Tape Pro Super Light. That's the one with the carbon fiber.
Yeah, I
one.
held it.
Yeah.
I held it. It's pretty.
It is pretty, isn't it?
That is a beautiful bazooka.
Black. Yeah. Yep.
Maybe I saw a newer version at Build 23.
Maybe they're holding something back.
It was pretty, whatever it was. I
Yeah.
remember it. I remember that, and I remember the angle. It was like a roller.
Roller.
They had a fantastic roller.
Yes. Yeah, self-adjusting roller.
Yeah.
It is good. Some guys don't like it, but each to their own.
Yeah.
By far the majority love it that have used it. So yeah.
So these guys, so you're, how do you get in touch? You said you created a lot of contacts from your experience on Drywall Talk. So that probably correlated with when people met you on Drywall Talk and like, oh, hey man, you should be using this tool. They'll send you a tool to try out and you'd try it out and you'd like it.
Not so much that back in those days. For me, that was more contacts of other tradies, such as there's a couple of guys in New Zealand. Colin Waterman, he was on Drywall Talk. Yeah, he's on Instagram to this day. Great guy. Yeah, often communicate with each other, chat, give him a phone call.
Yeah, Captain Jiprock.
Yeah, Captain Jiprock. Yep. Yeah. Captain Sheetrock, wasn't it, back then from the States?
Was it? There was a Captain
Yeah, that was a different guy. Yeah, but Captain Jiprock in Australia, he was on there as well, but he was just Brendan. I think he just went by his first name back then. Yeah.
I met him 2 years ago. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Level 5 up in Scott's hotel room.
Yep.
His private label showing the level 5 stuff. Yeah. That's where I met Drywall Shorty and Scott I've known for a little while. Known for a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're running the tools. You're running all the tools now, pretty much. And they'll throw you new tools to check out. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So
we were talking
it was
about
through Drywall Talk. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it was through Drywall Talk that I first got into the auto taper. These guys were putting up videos, how good it is, how to use it. Particularly Tubuck. He put up a series of videos on how to use it. So I ended up getting my first auto taper, paid second. I got it second hand off another user off of Drywall Talk.
Okay.
And use that for a while, and I'd put up videos and say, this is what I'm doing. What am I doing wrong? Help me, please. And the community there was fantastic. Yeah, it really was. Learned a heap, and that's probably why with Instagram I try to, as much as I can, demonstrate. Yeah, okay, I'm repping Tape Pro and Wallboard, but show techniques. Try to show people how to use stuff, and we've all got different techniques. If I can help someone, like the amount of messages I get on Instagram, DMs, how do you do this or what do you do that? It's just, you just scroll for days. The amount of messages I get. And if I can help those guys, fantastic. Yeah, I'm up for it. I don't care what brand of tool they're using. A tool's a tool to a degree, and they all work pretty well the same principles. If it's leaving an edge, why is it leaving an edge? Well, on your boxes, adjust your thumb screw, change your blade, or change the consistency of your mud. Find out what's working. Some muds run better than others. Yeah, why are you using that mud? Why are you using this mud? It's all Doesn't matter what brand of tool it is. All
Yeah.
works the same.
Do you have a decent selection of mud over there? What are you using?
I basically use CSR mud, Gyprock brand mud, but they've got a fair variety. Some work
Okay.
better than others. Yeah.
And
So we use
they put sugar in it over there, right? Little scoop of sugar.
nope, 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 nope.
Because
Our mud's sweet enough without that, mate.
Colonial Sugar Refinery.
Sorry, I got the joke now. Yep. I
Little
don't know.
scoop,
Could be in there.
little scoop of sugar goes a long way in your mud. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that's it.
Over at the Colonial Sugar Refinery.
Refinery. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
funny. And so
Yeah.
they carry a full line of mud. Is there several mud companies, or are you pretty much limited to that type of mud over there?
No, so there's three major. There was three major manufacturers in Australia. So there
Okay.
was CSR, Boral, and there was Lafarge. So
Burrow.
they've all gone.
Does Burrow make tools?
Who's that? Sorry.
Did you say Burrow? Burrow expert?
No, Boral.
Borrow.
Boral.
Okay.
Boral. Yeah.
Borrow.
No, they didn't make tools. No,
Okay.
didn't make tools. They made board and mud.
Board
Yeah.
and mud.
They're another major sort of building company, but it's
Yeah.
all changed now. Boral got bought out by Sheetrock, and then Knauf bought out Lafarge, and now who is it now that's bought out Lafarge? I can't keep up with it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
CSR still CSR Gyprock, and the others are just everywhere.
That's funny. You guys have a CSR and there's a CSR Canada. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And they're both tool distribution
Yep.
places. Very cool. Very cool. Rare.
Rare. Yep.
Very cool. What do you got on the agenda for today? What are you doing?
I'm going to take the wife out for breakfast, or she's taking me out for breakfast, one or the other. Shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been married for a bit, yeah?
Yes, yeah. What is it? 33 years? Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot. It's very good.
Yeah. And she still lets me come home each night, which is amazing.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Very cool. So it's Friday there. No work today?
No, as of this year, I've decided that I'm only working 4 days a week, so I'm not working Fridays.
Excellent. Good for you. Are they doing? I've heard of the United States looking at a 4-day work week. I just heard that somewhere. I think my guy Jack was talking about it.
Probably right. An employee wanting to.
Yeah, that's right. I heard
his own
it. That's
wheelbarrow.
right. That's right. Jack. Yeah. He was inquiring about a 4-day. I was like, well, that's less money.
Well, no.
Interesting. So is that something that is countrywide in Australia? Are they moving toward
not at all.
That's that's a Gary Holt special.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm 59 this year, and time to probably start looking after the body a bit. Yeah. Give the body a bit more time to recover. That way, I might have a few more years left in me.
Yeah. How long
Don't want to wear it out too soon.
How long are you going to keep going with this, Gary?
No idea. Yeah.
No idea.
How long's a piece of string, Nick?
And yeah. So you, how long after, I guess, the 16-year stint, was it after that did you start your own business, or are you working for somebody else currently?
No. So then I went and worked for a company for 4 years. They were looking for someone to train apprentices. The guy that I'd been working with for 16 years, he'd reached retirement age. So then I went and worked for this other company on wages, training their apprentices and doing houses. Stayed there for 4 years. Then a few things changed there. I had some of their supervisors were new and difficult to get along with, and I thought, I don't need this. So I left and went out on my own.
Okay.
So,
You seem
builders.
like a pretty good guy to get along with.
Oh, I try to be. Yeah.
I've worked with some jerks before.
Yeah, there are some around, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. It ain't worth it.
No. Just life's too short. Leave it alone. Walk away from it.
Yeah. So how old were you when you jumped out on your own?
Oh, come on, Nick.
You were older.
I was older.
Yeah. Well, I just did an interview. With Jams.
30, about 30, I think. Yeah. No, hang on.
Oh, that's not bad. No, you were older than that. 16.
I was older than that.
16 and 16.
40.
You were
40.
You were 40.
Yeah.
40 years young.
Yeah, 40 years young. Yeah. Yeah.
So Jams, I just talked with Jason Marshall. He was like 23.
Yeah.
Like super young. And I was like, whoa,
It is.
I was not ready to go on my own at that age. There's like no way I could have, went out on my own. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah,
still.
I probably should have done it earlier, but
yeah. Did
Become
you enjoy it?
where you are?
Yeah. Did you enjoy it once you went out on your own? You could control everything.
Yeah. But I've never really liked the paperwork side of it.
Yeah.
The quoting and that side of it. Never really liked that. But
yeah, it sucks.
Anyway, got to do what you got to do.
How many employees you got?
No, so it's just back to two of us now these days.
Two.
Yeah.
And
so
you both take Friday off?
No, he works some Fridays. He's a bit more flexible than I am. Yeah, he'll work a Friday or he'll go and do his little side jobs on a Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how do you structure it? Does he subcontract for you or is he like hourly?
Nah, so we split it.
Okay.
So 50-50, down the middle.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and if he works extra hours, we'll just calculate that into a job on a job-to-job basis.
Like hourly?
Yeah, just work out what we've made on the job and calculate that back hourly, and he can, those extra hours he gets paid the rate that we've made on that job. Yeah.
Perfect. It's a good way to do it.
That way it's fair. 100% fair.
Yeah. Yeah, because if he's putting in 12 hours on Friday.
Yeah. Which he's not. I think he was going to go in for an hour this morning and then take his dirt bike for a ride.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard. When your partner's taking Friday off, it's hard to show up and get some stuff done.
Yep.
If my partner was taking Friday off, I'd be taking Friday off. Cool. And so you've been doing that for a little while, your own gig. A few years now. Yeah. 20 years. Yeah. Yep. Very
Coming
cool.
Up 20 years, yeah.
Very cool. Oh, we were going to talk about this fancy sander. You got some kind of fancy sander. Corner sander? What do you call it? You have a fancy name. No, and stop me if I'm wrong. Nobody has this sander yet. This is an innovation in the drywall space, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. Tell me.
It's actually the original idea was from a guy in Canada, believe it or not, and he put it on Instagram that the fact that it's wider at the top and narrow at the bottom in an angle, the outside edges, when it's wider, it touches the outside edges and feathers those, and at the bottom, the apex is tighter, so it gets right into the corner.
Yeah, the design is cool. I really like it.
Yeah.
It wasn't Richard Icefeller, was it?
No, it was not. No. Pete Wilson is the guy's name in Canada.
Pete Wilson.
He came up with the original concept, and he put up a video on how he made his, and
Okay.
then I made one, and then
Okay.
modified it to suit.
Okay.
His used a fair bit of epoxy to glue things in, and then actually glued the foam pad on. Yeah, I decided to use Velcro and then different pads, and
Okay.
so the one I'm using is different to Pete's, but of same principle. Yeah.
Cool. And
So then,
so Pete had one, but he wasn't manufacturing them.
no, he made his own and
He
said, "Hey
made his
guys,
own. He
this
was
is
like,
what I've
"Hey,
got."
check this out." And Gary was like, "I'm gonna make those and like see if Tape
Yeah,
Pro wants to climb on board, right?"
yeah. Well, Tape Pro seen mine and then said, "Hey, how about we do this?" Did you do whatever you do? I said, yeah,
What happened
not
with
my idea.
Tape Pro? They just took it.
Well, they've made it now. They've only just released it, so we'll see where it goes.
What's it
Yeah.
called?
They call it the Stealth Sander.
Stealth sander.
Yeah.
Where can people get the stealth sander from?
In Australia, anywhere where you buy Tape Pro tools,
You
and
got to
in the
go to.
US and
You got to go
UK.
to.
Yeah.
You can get it in the U.S.
It's coming to the US very,
Okay.
very soon. I'm not sure if it's there yet. So anywhere where you'd purchase your Tape Pro tools in the US will have it.
Did you help Tape Pro develop the stealth sander?
Yes, I did, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
You worked with them on it. Are you getting any
Yep.
kickbacks for that, or it was just like
No,
friend
no,
deal?
no kickbacks. No
No
kickbacks.
kickbacks.
No.
What did they like
Oh, they
about
sent me one. They sent me one.
it? Free sanding paper for life. You heard it here, Tape Pro. Gary gets free sanding paper because he stole it. He stole it fair and square from Pete, and Pete's
Yeah,
not getting.
I didn't
Pete's not
steal
getting
it.
nothing.
Pete's pretty cool. He's good guy. Yeah.
Cool. Pete from Canada. Peter, what's his
Yeah,
name?
Pete Wilson. Pete Wilson.
I don't know if I know Pete. Very cool. Very cool. We've covered a lot of ground. What's the benefit of having a sander that's just to get the outside edge and the inside edge with the one sanding pole? How is that better than me just taking my sanding pole, doing the outside? I guess because you can get inside in the angle.
You don't need your foam block anymore to touch up your inside your apex at all. Once you've gone from top to bottom with that sander, that angle is finished.
Done.
Yeah. Done.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. I have light checked so many angles after they've been done, shine a light over it.
Okay.
And they're faultless. Yeah. And that depends on your finishing skills as well, as to how hard it is to sand and how much sanding there is.
Okay.
But yeah. Faultless.
So that stealth sander, you would say, like, totally changed the way that you sand and finish your angles.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Brad, that's the guy that I work with. We've got two of them. We're on a house yesterday. And as you know, in Australia, we don't do many top angles. It's cornice. So it's just the uprights.
Okay.
So we went through this house yesterday, 4-bedroom house, ensuite, reasonable size home. We had all the internal angles sanded in about 15 minutes. Finished.
Beautiful. So that stealth tool is a steadfast part of your tool arsenal.
Absolutely.
And now you use it on every job. When a tool comes along like that, that's a really big deal for like somebody to that's been doing it all their lives to shift and do it that way. That's a big deal.
Yeah. I'll be very interested to see the reaction of people in general when they get it in their hands and have a go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you get people
as long as they let the tool do the work. There's always someone that'll be talking trash. But
yeah.
but
Yeah, I did hear you say that too. There's a little technique, maybe a little learning curve where kind of like if you're cutting wood with a saw, you let the sander do the work. Will it chunk? Will it pop? Will it pop and chunk if you're not careful?
No, it won't pop and chunk. It'll just grip, and you won't be able to push it. You'll go, oh, it's really hard to push. That's because you're pushing in the angle too hard.
Okay.
And the grit of the paper is just gripping the mud and not sliding. Hello, Comet. Just go nice and just gently.
Gentle.
Like if you're sanding a joint by hand, you don't push really hard, do you? You let it float over the joint. It's the same principle. Yeah.
I like it.
Let the tool do the work.
Let the tool do the work. The Stealth. Now, buy Tape Pro, available in the United States shortly, perhaps?
Yes, if not already. I don't know for sure, but it won't be far away.
All right, we'll check on it. Gary Holt.
You would have seen it at Build 23, wouldn't you?
I wasn't looking. I wasn't paying attention to that. There was a lot going on. But I think he was showing it off, and I was like observing it. But I think like the dudes that I was looking at, they were looking at that cone. They were showing us the corner roller, but that sander, they were really they were showing it off. Now, yeah, come to think of it, I do remember seeing it. So they were probably getting some feedback. It'd be fun to talk to one of the guys from Tape Pro and see what the feedback on it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Gary Holt with Gary Holt Plastering, Australia. What's your pearl of wisdom that you can bestow on the drywall community?
Oh, be kind to your mother. I don't know, Nick. Just
that's a good one for me, buddy.
Yeah, work hard. Be honest. Be friendly, and just think of the next guy. A lot of guys don't, unfortunately. Think of the next trade that's coming in. Something that a guy said to me many, many years ago. He said, when you're working on this project, this is a project that someone's paying X amount of dollars for. It's their home. It's not just a house, it'll be their home.
Yep.
So if you wouldn't accept it in your home, it's not acceptable. So do it to the best of your ability.
Absolutely.
And treat it like you'd want it yourself.
That is a really good point. People, we tend to forget, like, this is going to be somebody's home. They're going to come in, they're going to sit, they're going to raise children there. And, you're having something to do with this project, this art project that somebody's going to enjoy for years to come. It's a very good point.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It's not just a house, it's a home.
Yeah, I like that, Gary. I like that. Thank you so much for joining me on the Drywall Podcast today. It was a little bit of a pull, but we made it happen, and I'm really appreciative of your time.
No worries, Nick.
Yeah, it was really great, man. It was great. And also, just like everybody, man, it's so cool to get to know you. And you will go on the list of everyone that comes on the Drywall Podcast. Will get a swag bucket from the Canadian CSR, where you get a what do you get? They'll probably be pissed because this one's going to Australia, but a bucket,
won't hurt them.
A bucket, a shirt, a tech dry tool is going to be included.
Sweet. I've seen those.
Yeah, they're cool. A 3-way, a spy sponge, and a sample pack, a color pack, and a sample of sealer from Fresco Harmony. So pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. What color?
Fun stuff. Merriman beige.
Okay.
Merriman beige, yeah.
So
it's a cool color.
What square footage would that do?
That would do, unfortunately, it's like a sample sealer. Maybe I will talk them into giving a quart away, which would enable you to do like 200 square feet, a large accent wall. but one color pack mixes with a box of mud, 4.5 gallon, whatever. That'd do 150, 200 square feet.
Okay.
Decent sized wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Never know. Might find a wall at home that needs it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But your wife will want more. You do like an accent wall, all of a sudden she'll want the whole living room done, And then I gotta get on the phone to Wallboard or CSR and be like, hey, I'm already selling at CSR Canada. Let's sell this stuff at CSR in Australia. You guys already make mud. Let's do this. Let's get it going. But
you wouldn't be able to keep up the volume then, Nick. Be a good problem to have, wouldn't it?
That would be a good problem to have. I'd love to ship product over to Australia. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Go over there and hang out with you guys. Show you how to run the bazooka.
Yeah, you probably could.
I used to love. I haven't ran it for a long time, but I used to love to run the bazooka. I got pretty quick with it back in the day.
Yeah, I ran it yesterday.
Yeah, it's fun.
Take the house out yesterday morning, so it was good.
Yeah, it was my funnest tool was the bazooka. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
What's your funnest tool?
It's either that or the corner finisher on the compound tube.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I use the Tape Pro. I've got what they call a CFP 75. So it's a plastic bodied corner finisher. So it's a lot lighter than your traditional metal based finishes, corner finishes, and it clicks onto the compound tube, and it gives a nice snug fit, so it doesn't flop about.
Yeah.
So you can actually drive it really easily. Yeah. And work on the compound tube. It is just gold. Yeah.
You like running that one?
I do like using
smoothing out those corners, nice and perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get them very cool. Stealth sander.
That's right. Very cool, man. Well, you don't need the stealth sander very much when you pull those angles out nice and sharp. Just a little brush.
Yeah. Just a little brush. That's it. Little wipe, done. Yeah. That's
cool. Well, we'll be in touch, Gary, because you're such a cool dude, man. And if I come to Australia, I would love to come out there. Come to Melbourne, take a road trip up and see you. Play around in some mud, man. That'd be fun.
Go fishing, Nick.
Well, yeah, we'll take Friday off and we'll go fishing.
Go fishing. That's it.
All right, buddy. You have a good Friday, and we'll talk soon, man. Thanks for joining me.
No worries. No dramas. Right. You take care, Nick. Great to chat, mate. Yeah.
Great chat. Talk soon.
Cheers.
Special thanks to Gary Holt for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. I appreciate your time and thank you so much. The Drywall Podcast can be listened to on your favorite platforms such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. If you go and like our YouTube page too, you can see a 15-minute teaser episode of my interview with Gary and every episode, and they're pretty cool. Tune in next Friday when we will be visiting with Ken Landon from Albany, New York, a great guy and super knowledgeable about the industry. Also, I'm excited to bring on board our newest sponsor, Tech Dry Tools, so stay tuned for that. Special thanks to Can-Am Tools for sponsoring the months of March and April. I really appreciate it, you guys. Can-Am Tools, industry-leading tools that help professionals around the world save time and money. For the months of March and April, you have an opportunity to get your hands on these tools at a discounted price. If you go to canamtools.com and enter promo code TDP15. The Drywall Podcast is also brought to you by Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. Thank you so much for joining the Drywall Podcast today. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And remember, keep drywalling.